Hello, welcome back. This is Sashiko Live Streaming, and this is Atsushi. I will be just doing Sashiko stitching as every week. So today, I was doing the denim stitching until the last week, until the previous week. I was planning to wear that denim to the QuiltCon this coming February. I was gonna wear that denim to show my stitching there, but I just realized that I am a little bit. The denim is a little bit too big for me to wear that there. So instead, I am gonna make this denim shirts with the Sashiko stitching, so I can show there. Hello. So I will be doing the Sashiko stitching with talking about something in English. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer that. If not, I'll find some topic to discuss. Sakura-chan. Sakura. やめて。ごめんなさい。ちょっと桜。Sakura, get off. Get off. Sakura, please. Sakura is my cat's name. Well, I didn't mean to speak Japanese, but this is the English live session, but it's not live session, live streaming. But at the same time, I might speak some Japanese. I will try to focus on English, and I do have some topic to talk about today, but. What is going to be a good topic to talk about today? I actually didn't bring much topic to talk this today. Well, I guess probably the art. Sashiko and art is something I recently discussed. So let me talk about it. Sashiko and art. So let's put this as today's topic. Sashiko art. Sashiko and art. So First of all, I did not study any art. I do not have a good education in terms of art. So my understanding of art is probably wrong, not accurate at all. And any of my comments is not about disrespecting to the art or artist people outside of, I respect art. I respect art, and at the same time, it is my honest feeling that I do not consider what I do as the art. I humbly accept. I'm very happy when somebody find my work art. I'm really happy about it. I enjoy their admiration. At the same time, I do not consider what I'm doing right now as the artistic work at all. So I will talk about Sashiko and why I do not consider it as the art. Why do I work from the back? I think I explained that already on the YouTube. There are a few reasons, and if you could go to the YouTube and the same account, sashi.co, and Google why back or something like that. I answered that. I believe I answered that already over there. There are 3 reasons that I work from the back side of the fabric. And it's quite important. So art. I don't know what the... There are many reasons that I do not consider what I do as art. But one of the significant one that I can probably show today is that I consider art as something extraordinary. I cannot say that word. Extraordinary. Ordinary. Like something special. So for me, art is something special. And it's probably Japanese understanding of art. We do not have the art pieces in the daily life, so art is something special to us. However, on the other hand, for me, Sashiko is very much ordinary process. I do this every day. I just stitch as we eat stuff, as we brush teeth. That's, very much ordinary things for me. So it is kind of strange for me to define what I do as art. It's just weird, strange for me to do it. At the same time, it is perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine for the other people to define, to call their stitching art and Sashiko. I don't have any problem with that, and I explain my perception, my understanding of the cultural appropriation in Sashiko a couple months ago. I do encourage, I'm perfectly fine people calling their stitching Sashiko F, as long as the stitcher respect the Japanese culture. I'm perfectly fine. Like, no matter what they do, it is okay for me. Again, as long as they respect the Japanese culture. So it is okay for them to call their stitching art and then enjoy that at all. Like, I don't mind that. I don't get offended. I'm perfectly fine with it. And I'm okay with people calling my work as art. I'm not gonna say that it's not art. It's not art. If somebody called my work art, that's perfectly fine too. The only things I'm not okay with is somebody talking Sashiko as the art on behalf of this other Sashiko stitchers. So does it make sense? If one thinks that is Sashiko as the art and make art piece with Sashiko, I'm fine. If somebody thinks that my Sashiko stitching is art, that is perfectly fine as well. However, I feel very strange if somebody share the information that Sashiko is art to the others without actually knowing what Sashiko is. As long as I know, many Japanese people, at least the Sashiko stitchers I know, do not feel that they're stitching art. That's how Japanese thinks about Sashiko. It's ordinary things. So it is kind of not along my hope that many people respect the stitcher respect the Japanese culture when they name their stitching Sashiko, if they do not understand the Japaneseness toward the art, the concept of the art. It's so difficult to explain. It is. So instead of just telling the others that Sashiko is art and so they can do whatever they want, I want them to try to learn what Sashiko is for the Japanese people. And there are many reasons that we call it Sashiko, and there are many reasons that we use specific tools. Needles, thread, thimble. We have a lot of reasons. It's not just because. It is more than just because. So I want them to learn that. I want them to listen at least, because I share them I share them on YouTube, and I want them to learn, and then after that it is up to them to define what is Sashiko, if Sashiko is art or not. But I have to just say that Sashiko as the art is quite strange for me. Sashiko result as the art is not as strange as someone's. It's so difficult to explain. Sashiko as the result as art is not as strange as me saying that I'm doing the art right now. First of all, I really have to define what art is. So it's probably I'm running in the dark right now. At the same time, my dishonest feeling is based on the Japanese mindset, which is quite important to understand Sashiko itself. I mean, Sashiko is the Japanese word for the stitching I'm doing right now. So I just want them to understand. I want you or them to understand that they are Japanese like me, who feels a little strange when it comes to the Sashiko and art. Well, look, as I keep saying, I think as the kind of like to the point, to the core, I don't want anybody to use the word art as the excuse to not to learn the basic or the core. I don't want them to use the art as the kind of free ticket to ignore the origin or the other. Like, freedom is one of the core concepts of art, right? Like, you have to one has to be able to do whatever they want. That's the core concept of art. That's perfectly fine with me, but there are people behind one culture, and then I want them to at least try to learn the basic, then decide if it's art or not, instead of just calling it art and then do whatever they want. So I mentioned that in the Instagram post, but it's a very rough example. It's not the best analogy, but I like jazz. That's why let me use that jazz as an example. There's a jazz genre called free jazz, right? Like free jazz. So before I learned jazz as the music, the free jazz was the collection of noises, like banging the piano, slapping the bass with, just like literally slapping the bass. I did not understand the beauty of free jazz. However, after learning some basic standard, the free jazz became some of the kind of like nice, music-ish. At the same time, I don't know any free jazz musician who cannot play the standard. Like, if one does not play any piano yet, they say that they are the free jazz pianist. It does not make sense, right? Like, the free jazz is supposed to be on the fact that the pianist can play the standard pretty well. Otherwise, like, my daughter can do beautiful free jazz, but we don't call it free jazz. We call it like 5-year-old daughter playing the piano. The similar things goes to Sashiko. It is perfectly fine for anybody to call their stitching Sashiko, and I'm happy if they advocate the Sashiko as the art, but I want them to know the basic at least, though. Is it too much to ask? I don't know. I think it is okay to ask. So if they have a basic, and then if they call their stitching as art, that is perfectly fine, but I don't see that often. some people say that we don't have to use this Sashiko thread for the Sashiko stitching because Sashiko is art. No, it is not. It is. There's so many reasons we use Sashiko thread instead of the other thread. Even with the same thickness, we do need to use the Sashiko thread for multiple reasons. And without knowing that the stories behind it, calling Sashiko art and then instead using whatever they want is not really okay with me. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. Let me go back to the comments. I'm sorry. Like the Amish or Quakers furniture or daily life, it is uncraft for the creation of something for daily life. Very much true. So it is the crafting. It is like some people advised me that I should call myself artisans, which I have been doing. And there's the word for the Japanese shokunin. I call myself shokunin more often than artist. But at the same time, shokunin is also artisans is a little bit tricky word, so I have to explain that more. But artisans comes more natural to me than artist, indeed. So I think you think of it as more craft, like we in America think of croquet. Yes, it is. Absolutely. I have no idea. I don't have that much idea of crochet or knitting, but it is absolutely kind of that thing. So the darning to mend the socks, knitting for your grandma, making a sweater for the grandchildren's, Sashiko is part of that category. So it's not like art. But because Japanese people did not explain that well online or in English, the people find it artistic way, which is perfectly fine. But again, I just want them to know instead of just saying out loud from nowhere. And if I did not explain any of that in English, and if I kept asking to understand it with like understanding from Japanese context, then it's not fair to ask. But I started sharing a lot of information online. And there are actually a lot of information before me published by the other English-speaking people who has a very good knowledge. I respect them so much for investing so much time in learning Japanese, traveling to Japan to translate, interpret the history of Sashiko and culture. So I want them to just learn instead of speaking out. Speaking out? It's not that complex. It's just a matter of reading a few books or matter of reading a few articles. But the Japanese tend to be quiet. We have a very strong sense of beauty in the silence. We don't want to fight, no dispute. The silent is always gold, blah, 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 blah. I feel the same too. But at the same time, the quiet, being quiet doesn't mean that we don't have anything to say. So, it is, like, I wrote that somewhere in the Instagram too, but in order to understand Japanese, it is very important to read between the lines, listen to the quiet silence voice, and also read their mind, read their atmosphere. We do have a very very strange culture, which I don't really like, but I'm sorry, but we do have it, which is the face outside and truth inside. Face outside, truth inside. We call it honne and tatemae. Honne is the true feeling, and tatemae is more like the feeling we are supposed to show outside. So, if the Japanese smiling to you for some occasion, it doesn't mean that they're happy. They might be feeling something else inside. We don't know. They might be happy outside and they might be feeling inside the same way. We don't know. But that's how the Japanese are, unfortunately. I don't like it sometimes that way. But it is quite important to read between lines and listen to the silence, and also understand that not a dualism, but we don't show everything. Yeah. I know it's not that good, but so it is. I hope that people who enjoy Sashiko stitching understand that part of Japaneseness as well as the history of Sashiko, and then practice the beauty of it. So, there are a lot of misunderstanding I can see online about Sashiko, and my wishes are to kind of share my perspective as Japanese. Probably sometimes that might be something they don't want to hear, because many people want to do Sashiko as the art, right? Like, that's what I feel right now. But at the same time, there are type of Sashiko that I don't consider art. At least what I'm doing right now is not art. It's just simply the stitching to make fabric stronger. So let's see. It is perfectly fine to call someone stitching art or Sashiko, and I'm here for that. But I just want them to understand there's more stories for Sashiko behind what they know, probably. Gosh, it's so difficult to speak. I mean, it's really difficult to explain this kind of concept in the English. I always explain that in Japanese somehow and then try to translate it. But it's not that easy to, because it is very difficult to be on the same page to begin with. We have a different culture, we have a different education, so the starting point is kind of different already. We're not on the same page to begin with, and that's why it is so difficult for us to explain, to share the same context. But at the same time, it's not gonna be the reason to give up. However, no matter what, it is not the good enough reason to give up what I want to share. So we'll keep sharing, but shit. Just a second, I have to fix this. So much talking. Yeah. ちょっと待って。ちょっと待ってよ。Just a second ね。ちょっと待って。I cannot speak English right now. Just it's so much. ちょっと待ってよ。これかこうでしょ。Just a second. I made too many stitches without thinking. Okay, this is good. This is good here. This is good here. Thank you for explaining your terms. It is educational. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. That's exactly what I want. Like, I'm not defining what is wrong and what is right. Oops. I just wanted to make sure that I share everything I can. Oops. 止まれ. I like that. Understand history and then practice the beauty. Well said. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad that I can communicate that. So I'm not asking you to understand Sashiko 100%, or even Japanese. I'm not asking you to understand Japanese 100%. I don't even understand Japanese 100%. But just try. Like the try is the word, but the attitude or willingness to learn something new will makes a lot of difference, in my opinion. So that's the only things I want. So instead of telling what Sashiko is to others, I want them to kind of try to learn what Sashiko is for the Japanese first. Even I don't speak for the other Sashiko people. I speak on behalf of me and my Sashiko from the 30 years of experience. Besides, sorry, it takes so much time to fix this. But if they focus on the Sashiko as the culture or the practice or ordinary things, I think we can have a mutual understanding for that. So, as of now, being said, as of now, I do not consider Sashiko as the art. I will keep saying that. I do not consider myself artist. I do not consider Sashiko as the art. As of now, I do not consider Sashiko as the art. I will keep saying that on Instagram. Please, please, please change my perception if you do not believe in that. I have a reason that I do not consider myself artist, or I don't consider my stitching as the art. I have many reasons based on my understanding of art and my cultural perspective. And I can be wrong. So if you could keep convincing me that I'm artist, or what I do is art, I'm very much open-minded to learn from you if I am the artist or what I do is the art. I just don't know. I just don't feel comfortable calling myself artist, and I just don't feel comfortable saying what I do is art. But at the same time, again, like I'm pretty much open-minded to understand your perspective or somebody's perspective that I'm art. Not I'm art. I'm the artist. Just, I'm really open-minded. I'm really open for those discussions. I just don't like the discussion with ignoring that possibility of influencing the other culture by spreading the own interpretation of one culture. I hope it makes sense. So by one saying Sashiko is an art, so one can do whatever they want, will, may, might, could have, may change the picture of Sashiko. And that's something I would like to avoid. And especially if that is from somebody influential in this internet society, the people who have a lot of followers have more power to influence the culture. If somebody said that Sashiko is the art, and if that the person is very influential, that might be another form of Sashiko, and I don't want that to happen. So it is not my comfortable zone to speak up, to have a possible conflict. But I couldn't keep quiet about this. So I just want them to learn. There are people behind Sashiko in Japan, so. It is important to show the live record in histories, please, from the beginning. Begin. What do you mean by beginning? It is the important show the live record. So It's very true. It is very true that it is important to show the record, like documentation or the some fabric or some pieces of art, Sashiko, right? That's probably how I understood the. However, as I keep saying, Sashiko is the ordinary practice Japanese have done a long time ago. The keyword is ordinary. Keyword is ordinary. I keep saying that. Ordinary. They did not feel the need of recording it at all because that was so ordinary things for them to do. Therefore, there's no record we can find. I'm privileged because I was born in the Sashiko family who revived Sashiko from the history, and we do have some record, we do have some histories, but that's about it. There are million cities, million places in Japan they practice Sashiko, and they didn't leave any documents behind. Also, the Japanese have a very interesting culture so-called shame, and Sashiko as the culture of poverty, poor economy, they did not want to leave the documents or live evidence behind. Therefore, there's nothing we can trace. Like, literally, there's nothing we can trace. Even, like let's say 10 years ago, there was a Sashiko master, like, she didn't even like to be called Sashiko master, but there was a lady who did a really good job in Sashiko, and I asked her to teach me Sashiko, but she said that she didn't even say she didn't want to teach me. She said she didn't practice Sashiko well. It's a shame. It's a shame that she practiced and then she didn't want to remember that she had to do Sashiko. Because that was the ordinary stitching practice, like, which was done in the poverty, not the good memories. Like, do we leave any record of what we do in the ordinary life? Like, do we record how to drive a manual stick car? We did not. Oh, I don't know what is the ordinary things we do right now. I sometimes use the example of pizza, but let's say we eat pizza a lot, right? Do we leave the recipe of pizza so that people 100 years later might enjoy what I make today for dinner? I don't think so. It's too ordinary for us to make something like that. The same thing happened to the Sashiko, so there's no such a thing as like a record or history we can refer to. It's all about, it's something we can find from the vintage market, it's something from the family. Therefore, it is so difficult to track the origin. I hope that's what you asked for that. Therefore, it is so difficult to prevent by the other influence. I think I'm doing the right. Okay. Yeah. But one thing I can say for sure is that it's not the free form art. I don't think the Japanese felt or even feel that it is this stitching right now I'm doing is the art. I don't know. There might be some Japanese people who feel that it is art, but as long as I know, in my friend circle, not many people feel my stitching as art or even my pieces as the art. Whew, it's so difficult to explain. I hope my English was okay for that. At the same time, I keep writing this. I keep writing the exactly same thing. So what I said today is already written somewhere on my website or in Instagram, or probably better summarized on Patreon. But usually what I say in the live streaming is already on the website or Instagram. That ordinary stitching, ordinary part of Sashiko is already explained somewhere. Probably on YouTube too. I don't know. I don't know where. But I have so many stories that I would like to share about Sashiko. But one of them is that it is too ordinary to grasp the whole picture. And it was everywhere. Sashiko existed literally everywhere in Japan. And then I happen to practice one type of Sashiko from my family history. And I can speak on behalf of my family history or my region. The key is or I cannot say that word. I cannot say the keyword. That's a big problem. Ordinally. Ordinally is the keyword for the Sashiko. But it's good to, I mean, the art is a very good word. I think it's a very fancy word, very creative word to encourage people. At the same time, ordinally is also a good term for remind us who we are. That's how I kind of perceive it. So it's just me, my perception, my understanding. Well, it's about how I change my perception about art and Sashiko. As of now, as I keep saying, I don't consider Sashiko as the art. I hope it makes sense. Wow, it has been 30 minutes. In fact, if anybody have specific documentation left, that'd be really helpful. So the Japanese people did not leave that much documents, right? Like they did not write down what Sashiko is and how they did it that much. So there's not that many documents we can find. However, if some like non-Japanese speaker visited Japan hundreds of years ago and then look at Sashiko, they may have left. They may have recorded something about Sashiko in English. That information I cannot search for that in Japan, or I don't have that much resources to come across that information. If there's anything like that, I would love to learn from that. Because of that kind of like less documentation, less proof, less evidence, less actual thing in the history, with the fact that Sashiko was everywhere, my understanding of Sashiko is there's no such a thing as a rule, there's no such a thing as right or wrong. As long as it is the stitching to appreciate the fabric, I call it Sashiko, no matter what. Well, I mean, done in Japan. So there are a lot of kinds of Sashiko. Sashiko is not only one. What I'm just doing is the part of Sashiko, and there are a lot of different kind. So, but at the same time, there are not that many information available because of the ordinary characteristic of ordinariness. Come on. Oh, but what can what I can do is keep stitching like what they did. I hope I hope I'm following the way or technique or practice how the Japanese people did a few hundred years ago in my area of Japan. What I can do is pretty much follow that technique, try to revive it as much as I can. Then, tell that cultural perspective and techniques to the others in 2020 and toward the future. Instead of as raw as possible, as pure as possible, with as less interpretation as possible. But let's see what I can do. I don't want to be the one who believes in myself and then advocate the Japanese sashiko for the others. I don't want to be like that neither. So I'm asking the other Japanese people to see if I am so self-centered or not as well. And I ask them if I'm self-centered too much, they will help me to say that Atsushi, you're being a little bit too much. So I want to be balanced. I want to be well balanced to advocate what Sashiko is to the others as well. Let's see. I don't know what I can do, but there's no option of not doing anything. So. But yeah, like a root based in base. I want to share the beauty of Japanese mindset. Not a beauty. I want to pass down the Japanese philosophy, Japanese mindset by sharing Sashiko. So it is very important to share the technique. It is very important to share the patterns, design, but also I would like to share the mindset. It is very unique and it is sometimes twisted, sometimes literally damaged mindset. Yet it can be beneficial. It can be beautiful to some occasion. So only things I ask is to respect the Japanese culture for that matter. So if you can try, not like fully, if you can try to understand the Japanese culture throughout Sashiko, that'll be the pretty much only hope that I have for this live streaming. Also, whatever I do, what I do in the US or what I do in the English is pretty much introducing the Sashiko and Japanese mindset to the others. I'm not saying Japanese mindset is the best of all. It is not the best. I can say that it's not the best. But at the same time, it can be beneficial to some people on some occasions, some cases. So it's fun. It's fun to share. Diversified, right? Okay, has been 45 minutes, so I'll probably do one more thread and then I'll go offline. If you have any questions, I may answer that. If the question is already answered somewhere, I will not answer that. I will of course direct you how to get that answer, but if you have any questions, I can answer that question next time when I'm in the live streaming as well. So feel free to do that. It's a place on your website where you recommend specific book on Sashiko. There is no book I recommend. Unfortunately, no. There is a frequent FAQ, frequent asked question. Then I talk about my recommendation about book, but there's no book No book recommendation about Sashiko. I'm sorry, no, there's no book. Unless you read Japanese, there are several recommendations. If you read Japanese, my recommendation book is written by Eiko Yoshida. I probably wrote it down on the website too, but as long as I know, there's no recommendation for Sashiko book written in English. If it's written in Japanese, try to find a book written by Eiko Yoshida. So, yeah, I think I have to write a book too. Oh, by the way, if you want to learn about my perception, understanding of Sashiko from cultural perspective, please try to look up my Patreon page. I write a lot of article. It is more like a preparation to publish a book if I have ever have a chance to do that. There will be a lot of learning opportunity there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, as long as I know, like a lot of Sashiko books published in English is how to, right? Like I got actually an offer to write a book, but the publisher wanted me to write a book about how to do this, how to do that, blah blah blah. Make a rule, make a procedures, make a direction, make samples, how to. And I understand that, like that's what they want. That's what the audience want. They wanna learn how to make what I make if they're gonna purchase a book. So it is very understandable that there are a lot of books about how to apply Sashiko technique to your quilting, how to apply blah, how to mend your denim, how to blah blah blah. Like the how to is the key of writing a book. I understand that. But those how to books sometimes do not follow up with why or the stories behind it. And it is kind of tricky to publish a book with a lot of philosophy because they don't sell well. I am a Sashiko practitioner. I do Sashiko, so I can talk about it. But if I want to learn something completely new, let's say English, let's say like I have to learn English, I would like to buy a book focusing on how I can improve my English tomorrow. How I can speak English better, how can I improve my pronunciation, how I can write my English clearer, better, how is my interest. I don't want to learn about English's history. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in how English was developed. From the Latin word or Slavic word, I care, but it's not my priority. Does it make sense? It's very understandable. If one wants to learn something new, what they want is how in this society. So it is very true that I should write a book about how, but in order to explain how in this specific practice, I really would like to share why. And that's what I'm doing on the Patreon website, Instagram, and live streaming. Instead of explaining why, instead of explaining how to do it, not instead. On top of explaining how by showing, I'm trying to focus on why. I mean, like I'm not like I'm nowhere to criticize the other people who doesn't want to learn why or story of Sashiko, because if I were one of the new learner of Sashiko, I want to learn how to mend the denim. That's the main interest. But as the one who has the privilege to practice Sashiko, I probably should talk about why as well. That's the motivation that I have. But again, like English was a good example. さくらち、さくらちょっと待って、ちょっと、さくら、ちょっと待って、さくら待って。ちょっと降りて、さくら。Get off, please. さくら。さくら。さくら。Please get off. Thank you. さくら。Sorry, I have a cat. That was a bad idea. I mean, I love her. We love this cat called Sakura. Her name is Sakura. But the cat is... it's not the best thing for Sashiko stitching. It is not easy. It is not easy to speak the second language while I make stitching. I got a comment on Facebook, not Facebook, on the YouTube that I'm doing such a good job using my right brain. Speaking the second language and also the moving the hand is both of them are the activity of right brain, or probably right brain. The brain prevent the stimulate the other brains. I don't know, but some like it's gonna stimulate my brain that I won't get the I forgot the word for that in English. Dementia. It's gonna prevent me getting the dementia. That's probably how I got as the comments on the YouTube. I speak the second language while I do the Sashiko stitching, so my right brain is very much well trained, and I will not get dementia in the future. The sad part of that is that yes, I use the right brain a lot when I speak English, but when I stitch, I don't use any brain. That's a very unfortunate part, but this stitching doesn't require any brain activities. I can be literally brain dead and probably stitch too. It's like a muscle memory. I watch sometimes The Walking Dead and then become brain dead and then keep stitching. Yes, Sakura probably loves me so much. I know, Sakura. Sakura likes me a lot, but that's because I feed her. She's like, meh. What? That's another reason. That's actually the fact that I don't use the right brain is another reason I don't call the art. Art is more sophisticated to me. In my understanding, art is very sophisticated practice to do. I don't use the right brain when I stitch. It's just stitching, so. Some people call cooking as an art. For me, Sashiko is like a cooking. Like, not even cooking, like slicing the onion. Is slicing onion art? I don't know. Cooking is a good example, good analogy, I guess, then. Do people consider cooking as art? Yes, if it's in the fancy restaurant, probably yes, but if it's done by your family member over regular, ordinary Monday evening where the kids are rushing you and then you have to just make a dinner somehow. Slicing onion there is not gonna be considered as art, in my opinion. So, let's see. But that's kind of the equivalent when people call what I do as the art. Well, I'm just slicing the onion now for what I have to do. That's a kind of good analogy. That's a good analogy, I guess. Okay, after this much thread, I will go offline. I'm pretty happy for today's achievement. For 2 hours, a little bit less than 2 hours, I stitched this much, including the drawing the patterns. So it's a pretty good. I try to be as fast as I can today. So I hope I can finish this jacket by the QuiltCon 2020 in. Oh my God! In 3 weeks. I cannot believe it. I will be there in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. Now I'm getting nervous. Come on, not here. Oh my God. Okay. Alright, I will show you the whole picture. I will show you the whole picture and then this will be the, again, as normal patterns. I'm kind of trying to stick with the one pattern so I can see the consistency there. Wow, a few more lines left. Then I'll have to go inside and then again complete as the pattern. So this is the Sashiko Stitching Live that I did for 2 hours. And I'll come back this coming Friday at the same times. It's 10:30 Eastern Time, following the 9 a.m. Eastern Time in Japanese live streaming, then English live streaming following that. Alright, thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Well, thank you, lady. Thank you so much, lady-san. Alright, thank you so much for the live streaming. I'll see you. This will be on the this will be archived in the YouTube, so you can rewatch it if you'd like to. The YouTube is sashi.co, same account. And I'll try to be as consistent as I can. Alright, have a good week. Bye bye.